Hey everybody, welcome back to an apolitical episode of The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, where I'm not going to talk about controversial stuff like science. I've learned my lesson. Okay, H2PKYKGH, here we are on a run that, honestly, I mean, the worst part about it right now is that we're fighting envy, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of having access to bombs early on in a run. Actually can, like, change your game, especially if you get an early small rock. Sometimes you need the Spirit Heart. This time we would be super stoked to get Small Rock. I mean, we got 3 HP, good tiers, adequate damage. Like, everything's fine. Everything's fine on this run. Now, here's the real question. If we got Shoop the Whoop, would we take it here? Are you even the Shoop the Whoop boss, or are you the Attack Fly boss? I don't remember. Either way, this is a library, so we're probably done with, with TNT. Even though it is Dynamite. Don't worry, the baby is being cared for. You got nothing to fear. So this is already, like, pretty much a win. And I'm not trying to be, like, you know, I'm, like, rude about it or, like, stop watching or whatever. But, like, it's pretty much set in stone that this one's under control. Anytime you get Satanic Bible, you know, we have almost lost the run with Satanic Bible recently. Sure, I'll take it. But almost losing a run with Satanic Bible is so rare that it left such an impression on me that I'm still talking about it. Like, that's how rare it is. So, basically having Satanic Bible and literally anything else going for you means that you're pretty much okay. You already know that. You've been watching for a long time. Every once in a while, like, I think about, like, what it must be like. Because, believe it or not, it's not a plurality, but there is a group of people who know me. They discovered me through something that's not Isaac. And there's a few that, like, come up a lot. Isaac, XCOM, Slay the Spire, you know, Enter the Gungeon, lots of stuff like that. But at some point, most people who watch kind of end up getting filtered through Isaac. It's like how when you leave a museum, you gotta exit through the gift shop, right? Excuse me, don't do contact damage to me. How rude. How rude. Alright, I'm very thankful I did it, but probably in the future we should avoid it. Anyway. I'm always interested, because, you know, statistically speaking, there's probably at least, you know, a handful of people, maybe like in the low double digits, who are watching this video for the first time. Like watching an Isaac video for the first time. Either they've discovered me somehow, maybe it got recommended in the sidebar. Must be weird, right? We got all this, like, yeah, I missed out on all the lore. So for those of you wondering, I talked about The Mandalorian recently. I said the next time we do an Isaac episode, we will have probably caught up. That is indeed absolutely true. I am now finished Season 2, Episode 1 of The Mandalorian. What are my thoughts on the series? Honestly, I thought the first half of Season 1 was just okay. And then the second half, I really thought it kind of hit its stride. And then the first episode of Season 2 was good as well. I think that at first I was like, you know, kind of cynically like, as just like a super polished Disney product designed to, I don't know, they had like 12 extra Boba Fett armor props back at Skywalker Ranch, and, you know, they're like, well, you might as well, I don't know why I'm trying to do a George Lucas impression, he's not involved, but, you know, we might as well do a show about it. But then, like, once they kind of, because the first couple of episodes to me kind of felt like almost a Monster of the Week sort of thing, which is fine, but it's not really my style. You know, I've been so spoiled by all this, like, prestige television that, like, you know, unless something is building towards, like, a greater mystery or, like, some, like, I'm not happy when things happen in every episode in a TV show anymore. Game of Thrones, has, in particular, and anything J.J. Abrams has ever touched, has conditioned me to, like, not like a TV show unless, you know, they always have some kind of little breadcrumb trail going on. Like, who's that guy? What the heck is that? Ooh, I wonder when we'll get an answer for that question. You know, you get the idea. So I was like, you know, I'm kind of enjoying the one-off episodes, but at the same time, like, where are we building towards something? And then honestly, I felt like it kind of started to wrap it all together once the second half of the first season was underway. If you have Disney Plus, I would recommend it. Now, should you buy Disney Plus? That's a question that only you can answer. I will say, I know it gets me in trouble. It gets me in trouble. I think it's worth having Disney Plus for like a month. You can watch... Well, if you know, right now, our daughter obviously is too young to really get any advantage out of it. But for certain, I think it's going to pay dividends later, you know, when maybe she's a little bit more interested. She wants to see all the Disney stuff. Like, I know everybody is like, well, my kid's going to get raised on Jodorowsky films. No, they're not, okay? You're going to try to show them Holy Mountain or El Topo or something like that, and they're gonna be like, Dad, this is the 20th time we watched this week. Can we watch Moana? And you're like, no! He was gonna make Dune, dude! Anyway, but I think... What if we just chilled? What if we just chilled for a second instead of getting greedy here? But the potato peeler might be worth it. It might be worth it. We probably don't have to worry about HP, so getting a free orbital is nice. The Eternal Heart is also HP. Okay, there's stuff to enjoy there. But I think right now, if you're an adult who is interested in acquiring this content via legal means, you can, with your 1-month trial of Disney Plus, if they're still doing that, you could watch everything I would recommend watching. Sure, in my estimation. I get in trouble for it. This is what I was going to say earlier. I really think, you know, Hamilton's worth watching. If you've seen it and don't like it, cool. If you've read about it and don't like it, I'd encourage you to give it a watch. I mean, it's only a 3-hour time investment, so, you know, it's pretty breezy. But, you know, I understand the consequences of it. But also, I'm, you know, 31-year-old adult. I did not leave the musical thinking it was a hip-hop documentary and like, oh man, Thomas Jefferson, what a cool guy. I left, I was like, man, the guy who played Thomas Jefferson was really good. But that's David Diggs for you. More like David sings and dances, because oh man. You can watch all 9 episodes of The Mandalorian. I mean, I guess you need to more than a... Maybe wait for your free trial until the 2nd season is done. And then, you know, you can watch, like, a Pixar movie, a couple Star Wars movies or something like that, and you're good to go. There you go. A couple classic Disney animated movies. There you go. That's my Disney Plus buyer's guide. I certainly would not suggest it's essential. Hold on. We didn't get it. But if you're into that sort of thing, it's the most cowardly review, and I do it all the time. That's not my cup of tea, but if you're into that sort of thing, if you like it, you're gonna like it. 7 out of 10. Too much water. We have not seen our item room, right? It's a bad habit. I'm definitely tempted to just bounce. This is like an impossible boss to kill with Death's List, but that's okay. Just hey. Don't make me use my demon heart to murder you. I'll do it, dude. I'll do it. Do you think I've... You know Dave Matthews Band? He's got more songs than just Crash Into Me. It's true. He's also got that one that starts with the harmonica. You know, I don't know what it's called, but it goes like... Wham, 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 wham. You know the one. Okay, well... Sure hope somebody got fired for that blunder. No spider deaths. No spider... This... He walked into me, dude. He crashed into me. I know there's a key back there. So anyway, yeah, it's pretty much my life. There's a, you know... You got the baby. My mom comes over. She, you know, cooks us dinner, or we order dinner together, which has been a lot of fun. Watch The Mandalorian at 4 or 5 in the morning, and then, you know, decide. It's every day the most difficult decision I face is based on when the baby gets up. Am I going to start my day then Or am I foolishly gonna try to fall back to sleep for another, like, hour and a half? Right now, it's like, if the baby wakes up, because we go to bed around, like, 10, 10:30 most days. You know, not because we're trying to go to bed early, necessarily, because, you know, the baby. And we, you know, if the baby wakes up at, like, 5:30... Keep in mind, we're not falling asleep right away most of the time. The baby wakes up 5:30. Let's go. Then I'm usually like, you know what? Let's get up. We can start our day a little bit earlier. Today, she woke up at like 4:45, and I was like, this is a riddle that I am incapable of solving. Yo, it's a great Tears upgrade. So I ended up going back to sleep for like a couple of hours, but honestly, it's easy to say now, but I just kind of wish that I woke up. The whole, like, 30, 40 minutes where I'm feeding the baby, I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, am I tired? Or am I good to go? And then eventually, like, sometimes I'm like, I have to... It's almost like after you've been drinking, you know? I don't actually know until I stand up and I go like, whoa. Buddy, you need some water. Okay, we're gonna Death's List this one, dude. Look at that. Genius plays, as always. And we got... I was just gonna say, I think that's a 48-hour energy pill. Is there an item room on this floor? I'm just curious if the... You know what? Just go ahead and, like, hit me or whatever, because we have the 48-hour energy regardless. I'm just kind of hoping that at some point we might be able to encounter, like, an item room. If there's, like, an item room or something. You know what? It's time to caffeinate. It's time to caffeinate. Isn't that like an LCD sound system song? It's time to caffeinate. Says, you know, NL, that's time to get away. I know. Who do you think you are, James Murphy? Have we been to our item room and I'm just like... It was right there the whole time. And it was highly, highly worth it, as you can tell. Anyway, let's get the heck out of this floor. We got a very good thing going on. It's just, you know, we are a little, like, impotent from a damage standpoint for sure. That's our number one thing, but we have essentially infinite HP. I really do think it will pay dividends for us. I'm completely okay with that, to be honest with you. I think it will pay dividends for us, to be honest, to use Death's Touch. Or, Death's List. It's not always going to be swingable, but when it is swingable, like, I think it's super, super worth it. Even if we take some damage in the process, because, like, when you get an upgrade from it, the upgrade is permanent. So I'm not just doing this weird run to flex here, I promise. Okay, you probably don't want to just run into this enemy. Like, I genuinely think this is the path towards greater success for us long term. Now, the vast majority of the time is probably going to frustrate us because we're going to get, like, almost nothing of value out of Death's List. Not the flies. You can't get the flies! But the rest of the time is going to be sick, dude. That, like, 1 out of 10 times where we get what we want to get. Oh, baby. Like this time, for example. Look at that. Picked up a Spirit Heart. And did not pick up a Spirit Heart, but picked up a Spirit Heart. Keep in mind, we got a lot of latent good stuff going for us as well. You know, we got 1 Guppy item. Might maybe hesitate to call that too amazing, but it's certainly not a bad thing. Did we not go in here? Is this like a curse of the... Yeah, it's a curse of the weirdness. So we probably exited this room accidentally. Trying to go up or something. Oh well. Anyway, that's about it, honestly. Like, I don't have a whole lot else going on right now. Which is pretty understandable. I know, like, trust me, I'm in the same boat. I kind of thought, like, baby time would be Anecdote City. It's really not the case. Like, you know, I think that new parent anecdotes, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of, like, hospital anecdotes. But otherwise, like, new parent anecdotes are kind of, like, boring to anybody that's not related to the baby, I think. Like, any anecdote that I could send you right now would just make you think that I'd lost my mind a little bit. Because I know how it sounds when, like, other people have tried to tell me stuff like this. Like, dude, you wouldn't believe it, but she drank, like, a liter of milk yesterday. You're like, okay, I don't know. I don't have any concept of whether that's, like, a lot or a little. You wouldn't believe it, but she's been making all sorts of new noises. You're going to be like, that's just gastrointestinal bubbling. You don't understand. But, you know, we're going to... I think, like, once we get into the baby can speak and have a personality days is going to be an endless... And this is not what I look at Parenthood as, but it's going to be an endless anecdote farm while also protecting the, you know, privacy of my child and my family life. Because I feel like, you know, as a newborn, there should be some right to privacy, don't get me wrong. But there's also almost like, you know, newborns are not... like, they're human beings, but they're kind of like, you know, let me put it this way. If you got mad at your parents for sharing a story about how you pooped your pants as a newborn, the problem is with you on that one. You gotta... Look, everybody poops... There's even the world's smartest newborn. Like Albert Einstein, he still pooped his pants. Or his diaper, at least. It's not like he came out and he was like, goo goo gaga, you know, E equals MC squared. So I got a bit for you here that's gonna, it's gonna rankle some people, it's gonna rub some people the wrong way. I think that we as a society, which we do be living in, by the way, I think we, on a popular level, reward... I wouldn't say the wrong kind of intelligence. That's not really what I mean. I guess here's what I mean. And I'll start by begging like a rhetorical question. Why are so many of the 20th century's considered smartest people astronomers? You know? Take a moment to ponder on this. Isaac Asimov, Carl Sagan, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I guess Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking aren't so much astronomers, they're astrophysicists. But I think you understand my point. What I'm getting at here is, why do you have to... In like the 20th century, I guess we were enamored with outer space, which you still should be, I suppose. But honestly, you're going to laugh, but I also am not just being funny or trying to be funny. I think that there are smarter people than, like, and again, don't get me wrong, you know, Richard Feynman, you know, Oppenheimer, etc. It's very intelligent. I'm not suggesting that they're not. All I'm gonna suggest is, like, what about the guy who invented the microwave? What about the person that, you know, put a radio in a car for the first time? These are, like, E equals MC squared. I'm sure, like, I learned about E equals MC squared, you know, in physics class. But on a, like, day-to-day basis, doesn't really affect my life. That's not to say it's not important, but, you know, it hasn't really fundamentally changed the way that I interact with the world, I believe. Mostly because I'm too dumb to work in that field of academia. However, you know, like the guy who first put a stereo in a car, come on. Now that's a genius right there. What about the person who invented, like... Hold on, I'm thinking. Yeah, what about the guy who invented OBS? Why are we not talking about, you know, this software team on a daily basis? I think astrophysicists have had it too easy. And it's not fair, because there's probably some bad astrophysicists out there, right? But they've got, like, shared valor, or stolen valor, I mean to say, because of people that, like, invented the Large Hadron Collider. There's probably some, like, PhD candidates out there where people are like, ooh, don't hire this guy to build your micro-satellites. He's gonna screw it up royally. Why am I just... You know why I'm running into enemies? It's impatience. Let's not deny it. It's impatience. We also do have essentially close to an infinite amount of HP, so I'm sure it's gonna annoy you to see the way that we're approaching this, but we really are doing it to try to get Death's List to give us, you know, enough stuff to work with. And long term, we're probably going to be fine no matter what. I guess we screwed it up somehow. But this would be a great floor to maybe get some deal with the devil movement. Anyway, I don't want to say we reward the wrong kind of genius, but I think that sometimes there is an overemphasis on the value of the theoretical over the practical. Like, who's done, and I'm being 1000% kind of sincere on this, who's done more good for society, okay? Niels Bohr or the person that invented the frozen pizza? I'm only being like half facetious. You're gonna be like, Niels Bohr came up with the, you know, circular model of the atom or whatever. Okay, don't get me wrong, it's very important, and probably like that, those discoveries have led to, you know, the introduction of processes that have made life better or easier for human beings. On the other hand, the guy who invented frozen pizza, I mean, it's a pizza you can cook at home in your oven. You know how many millions of those are eaten on like a daily basis? So many. By the way, do not fear the baby's cries. The baby is being taken care of. Tomo, you really want to leave? You really want to go, buddy? You want to go out there into the scary place? I'm just saying, I genuinely do think there's an undervaluation of the practical. Maybe not just frozen pizzas, but like, you know, people who invented batteries that were like 10% more efficient or something like that. You know, I think there's a lot of merit to stuff like that. All right, I'm gonna pause and make sure this is okay, and I'll be back momentarily. All right, we are back and good to go. Hold on, I gotta figure out where do I stand on this one. Where do I stand on this run? First off, dude, if the enemies could stop trying to hit me, that'd be sick. Like, I don't understand why did we enter into this like with the assumption of aggression? You know what I mean? Whatever happened to civility? Well, an attempt was made. I would like a bomb, please. I would also love, and this is like, now we're starting to get into, okay, here's where the complaining starts territory. I really don't mean it like that. But we're definitely starting to get into, like, if we don't get a damage upgrade very soon, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind, man. Like, am I insane? Or has our damage somehow actually gone down? I know that we have triple shot. I'm not talking about our rate of fire. I made a decision to lower our rate of fire in order to get triple shot. Hold on. Tomo, you'd like to come back in? Hello, Tomo. Hey, buddy. I told you didn't want to be out there, dude. Yeah, get back in the safe place. Race back to the fun, to sit with the streamer at the fireside. Oh, he loves it. Oh, no! It's still okay. We can still Death's List. Whatever, dude. Go ahead. Hit me. Whatever, dude. Go ahead. Ruin my life. Ruin my Death's List. I mean, I'm kind of doing it to myself, but I guess the only thing I would say in my own defense is we are playing poorly because we have the excuse of being able to play poorly and still come out with the dub on this one. I can't be mad at Death's List. It has provided me with like a 25% increase in rate of fire. That's pretty important. Like that matters. We can donate as much money as possible. We could take the blue candle, but they're kind of like, don't get me wrong, we need, you know what, this is one that could cost us, but probably won't. I did not mean to do that. I'm just happy we could get our key back. So genuinely, I understand that with Satanic Bible, we are essentially unkillable. I dare not. However, it was worth a shot. I also sort of feel like Blue Candle solves our damage-related problem. What? Death's List worked there? What? Blue Candle solves our damage problem. And we still have a ton of HP because of Dark Bomb. So that's the way I'm choosing to look at it. Is that we're in like a really, really, really great spot. Where I don't want to say we can't lose no matter what, but I think this is a situation where, to me, it makes sense to leverage what you're good at to patch some holes in your weaknesses, right? I don't expect to have much of a chance to Death's List here, but if it happens, even better. We got another rate of fire increase, huh? I'm not complaining, really. I just... Be nice to... I was going to say it'd be nice to see the damage stat come up too, but let's focus on the alternative. It's really nice to see a meaningful stat improve instead of something like shot speed. So, Death's List has served its purpose here. Well, I guess that's just the room where it's impossible for it to work, I think. This one, you don't even bother trying, really. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know, again, living a pretty anecdoteless existence here, except for, you know, complaining about people flaunting pandemic measures. Pretty much the gist of it. So I wish I had something more for you. Okay, hold on. This is a big one. That's why we're focusing so much on gameplay. Okay, there we go. Nice little range upgrade. Very, very important. Very useful. It has been a good time for video games. Dude, something to, like... It's not a good time to get in, for me at least, to get into a video game that's super, like, you know, matches are long or something like that. Like, you actually... I was laughing because, like, the number one thing... Like, you know how I'm always, like, you know, on the internet, you gotta be careful about, like, being angry is kind of seductive, so you gotta watch out for, like, these outlets that, you know, are exclusively trying to inflame your sensibilities and make you upset constantly in order to manipulate you, but also get you to click on everything they ever make. That goes double for YouTube, by the way. You know, I hate the internet, the marketplace of attention on the internet, where essentially, like, if you make, like, a good video essay or something like that, probably not going to get that much attention. But if you make a video that, like, highlights the stupidest person that you could possibly find, and then, you know, just extrapolate that for, like, can you believe that there's people out there like this? You know, that kind of stuff gets, like, insane attention, and also, you know, informs people's worldview, which is the really scary part. But anyway, I'm going to use this as a springboard to talk about video games. Which is to say that I'm guilty of trying to get angry on the internet as well. I just try to do it about more mundane topics. But I was laughing. So Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed again, and in the replies for the delay from the official account, there was somebody, and I think that it's a very unique situation for me to be able to so openly criticize somebody, but we're operating from the exact same position, which is rare. That somebody was like, "Thanks a lot, CD Projekt Red. My daughter is due to be born in, like, the last week of November. I thought I was going to have a lot of time to play Cyberpunk, but now because of this 3-week delay, I'm going to be too busy raising my child to play the game." And there's so much to unpack there. One is, you know, you're, you know, involved in a relationship where, like, your partner is about 8 months pregnant, and you're tweeting angrily at a video game publisher about, you know, game delays. The other one is, you know, I really think, you know, as long as Cyberpunk has a pause button, you're honestly good. Now, you know, the mother of the child is harder. I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's just harder. like, I hate to say it, because I know, like, not every situation is the same. I think the mother tends to have a lot less free time. You know, you can divide the work as evenly as possible, but at the end of the day, only one of you is, you know, nursing and pumping, and, you know, you can change a lot of diapers, but I don't know. What's the diaper to pumping ratio? It's like, you know, 6 diapers equals 1 pump equivalent or something? Long story short, I'm here to tell you that, you know, as a new father, you definitely got time to play Cyberpunk. You probably, you know, you might not be able to take 12 hours out of your day and sit down and, like, I envision myself being the first person in the world to get platinum in this game. You know, that's pretty unrealistic. But definitely, you know, you could play that in 10 to 15 minute bursts, you know, 20 times a day. What you probably do not want to do is start getting into, like, League of Legends. That's a bad time for that. Or any game that, like, you know, even like a Souls game, probably not a great time because there's no pause button. But anything with a pause button, or anything, you know, that has a little bit less consequence for, you know, being AFK, totally fine. Like, I've been playing some Rocket League lately. Rocket League, admittedly, is an online game, so there's no pause button, Mom. Hold on, I'm thinking. Weirdly enough, Pokego is kind of like a given. I don't think we want anything else, though. But we also don't want to just leave this floor, obviously. But the thing is, Rocket League, you know, the rounds are 5 minutes long. They probably end up being, like, you know, 7 or 8 minutes once you factor in the, you know, the replays and stuff like that. It is fairly doable. You know, and it's been a nice kind of, like, you know, I don't want to say mindless thing, but it's been a nice game to kind of rediscover. I found myself, I don't know, like, I go through fits and spurts of this, right? But lately I've been like, you know what, I kind of want, like, a game that I can play a little bit more casually, but also, like, a game as a service, if that makes sense. Like, I don't have, like, a Destiny, I don't have a WoW or a Path to Exile or something like that. I think something like Rocket League, like, it's almost like the same feeling as I get when I play Battle Royales, except I'm, like, half decent at it. And the rounds are 5 minutes long, so it's kind of a good fit. But I was definitely laughing. I was like, man, I don't know if, like, when you wrote this angry reply up, did you really think people were going to be like, yeah, CD Projekt Red, this guy's about to welcome the most important edition in the history of his life, and you're screwing him by delaying a video game entertainment product. And I know some people are going to be like, you don't understand. Like, you know, I have sympathy for him. No, I completely understand. I also have sympathy. And I mean that sincerely, because I understand he's coming from, he thinks that he's going to not have any access to free time afterwards. But now I want to be very careful with the way I'm suggesting this. Your philosophy, I think, surrounding your entitlement to your own time should change in advance of fatherhood instead of exclusively in response to it. You know, if you're the kind of person that is going to be like, you know, you can be disappointed. They're like, oh, now it's pushed after the birth. That's going to be disappointing. Sure, I get it. You know, you're not going to have as much free time. But also, you know, you have like the sacred responsibility of taking care of a, you know, brand new human life. Like, who cares about Cyberpunk, dude? Like, oh, I've been waiting 9 years for the game. You've created a soul. Not in, like, a religious sense. I just mean, like, you where there was none person, you have created a person. And you're like, but I'm not gonna be able to be best friends with Keanu Reeves. But actually, I probably will be able to be best friends with Keanu Reeves. I'm just gonna have to pause it on occasion. Like, it's just... Like, it's just... Why own yourself? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Dude, Pokego is killing it for us here. I know that might seem insensitive, okay? But... No, we can't really make that guppy work confidently, I think. I'm just saying. You can be mad that the game's delayed. It's just as soon as you come up with a reason for it, You know, you better make sure the reason for your anger is, like, sensible. Like, to be honest with you, and I don't know if there's any, like, you can be mad, but that doesn't mean it's the developer's fault, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, I want to not be like, yeah, get on, if you have a good reason to be mad at a publisher for delaying their game, then get them. Twitter, do your thing. It's not like that, but... Like, here's what I would consider not a genuine reason, but a reason that I would understand. You're 14 years old, and, you know, you want this game to come out on your summer vacation, but they delayed it until, you know, September. That sucks. I understand, you know? It would have been sweet for you if it came out at a different time. The baby one, I'm like... This is a little bit of fatherhood gatekeeping, so I apologize, but... If you're so concerned that you won't be able to play Cyberpunk, maybe... Again, I'm going to be careful with the way I phrase this. I think you should rework your life so the baby is the top priority and the video game is maybe like, you know... Like number 5? Like number 2 should probably be like, you know, the mom, and then number 3 should be like your own... health, you know, and mental well-being, and then like maybe number 4 should be like the running of your household, like paying the bills and stuff like that, and then number 5 should be like, I also wouldn't mind sneaking in a little Cyberpunk now and then. That's all I'm trying to say. Surprising to me though. I mean, I get the game's been delayed like endlessly. Surprising to me when people get so upset. Like, I didn't know that this was a thing, but apparently it's like very common. Because I've seen it in the replies not just for Cyberpunk, but for like the new WoW expansion as well, or the WoW remastered expansion, I guess. Honestly, I don't know how it works, but people like get mad at CD Projekt Red because they took time off from work. There is one, and this is not just being devil's advocate. There is one where CD Projekt Red tweeted, like somebody tweeted at them and was like, hey, is the release date final? I want to take time off from work to play it. And then they said, yep, go ahead. And then the next day they announced the delay. I'm more inclined to believe that's due to a situation where, like, the social team is not privy to the fact that the game was about to be delayed. And then, you know, a decision from management was like, hey, oh, by the way, we're going to end up delaying this for 3 weeks. And then they went, ooh, I really wish I hadn't sent that one yesterday. But regardless, you know, I can understand being frustrated. You got kind of uniquely screwed in that situation. But I'm also like, really? People are taking time off from, and I'm saying this non-judgmentally. I'm like, people are taking time off from work to play Cyberpunk 2077 at release. Like a day? Sure. I genuinely get it. You know, like I remember in 2000, it must have been 2009 or 2010. Red Dead Redemption 1 was coming out. It got insanely good reviews. All of my friends were going to buy it. I went to work that day dreaming about the game. On the way home from work, I picked up my pre-order from the electronics boutique, booted it up, and had a great time. But all day at work, I was thinking like, man, oh man, would have been sick to be playing the game right now, right? So I get taking a day off. A week, though? Like, by the third day of that week off, aren't you like, man, I kind of wish that I... Oh, we already have Bookworm. Aren't you kind of wishing that you'd maybe segmented the time off a little bit? I know we don't get a lot of it. I'm not gonna, you know, poo-poo what somebody's doing in their, you know, free time. I know it sounds like I am, but really the only reason it might seem like that is because they're getting up in CD Projekt Red's mentions, you know? Like maybe, and this is perhaps coming from an ivory tower sort of position, maybe don't plan your vacation time based on the release of an entertainment product you don't have control over. Not to be rude, but like, it's less like you're in the wrong and more like, it could happen. You know, you could find yourself living in a shotgun shack. You could find yourself in another part of the world. You could find yourself having to do something else with your 5 days off in November. Anyway, I understand. Look, it would be so much easier, okay, for me to just be an ally of the gamers and post a vlog saying this is unacceptable without actually looking at the, you know, the consequences of it. I just can't do it. Something inside of me is like I've always got to be a little bit contrarian, and it's my lot in life. Now, if you took time off to go see a Marvel movie, now we're talking. There's a genuine reason. See, I'm going to make the joke at my expense so you don't have to. If you wear your scars as armor, they can never hurt you. Peter Dinklage. A Song of Ice and Fire. This is interesting. So I guess that's my advice. I get two pieces of advice here. One is, you know, your ability to play video games does not end when you have a child. It may change, and it will also probably be temporarily on pause, for sure. Like, you know, if your baby is due to be born on the same day as Cyberpunk's new release, you might want to be like, you know what, honey, you can drive yourself to the hospital. I've got to help Keanu Reeves save Neo Los Angeles. Neo Los Angeles? Get it? But like, you know, if it's... And the other... It's not like the game goes bad. Just put it in the fridge, dummy. Once you get a little spare time, you can still... I don't want to play it anymore. Other people have already memed the crap out of it. I don't know, it's just a weird priority, you know, rationalization. What am I... It's like, you got your priorities all backwards if you're tweeting, you know, hey... I want to play your video game, but because you guys are lazy, I'm going to have to take care of my kid instead. Heavy weird champ energy. But anyway, you know, again, I'm you know, being a hypocrite here because I'm taking one ridiculous take and then extrapolating it out. I'm not saying all gamers are like this. I'm just saying that gamer should listen to this video. Apart from that, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. We'll be back next time. What are we at here? This is a good day, Isaac. 14 wins in a row. And I'll see you next time. See ya!